to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Seated. Okay. Motion to accept the minutes of the last meeting. Any questions on it? Becky? I'll second. Treasurer's report. Everybody have a chance to look at it?
Yeah, I just said that question again.
Yeah, and I reached out to
We're
Nicole.
still showing
She
that,
said-
still showing a negative on the M&T accounts for.
She said it was something that the
Yeah.
accountant did, but there's no negative balances, so. Motion to accept?
So moved.
Alan?
Second.
Randy? Bills? Check number 1240 through 1265 for a total of $66,222.89.
I'll make a motion to pay checks 1240 through 1265 for a total of $66,222.89.
Second.
Motion by Randy, second by Tom.
Ed,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Becky, yes, Randy,
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Communications, we got a letter from Reynolds Elementary thanking Chief O'Kelly for our participation in their annual trunk or treat event. Nice letter here, Chief, we'll send it over to you. Commissioners reports, administration, Becky?
We don't have anything this month.
Okay. Financial?
We read the resolutions to re-adopt the funds and the voting will be at the same time as the commissioner vote in December. That's all I have for financials at the moment.
Thank you. Bring that up here. Cover the meeting, please.
Okay, truck maintenance.
Yeah, just truck one update. I have a handful of valves internal that are leaking. It's not as simple as what I had hoped. It's struggling getting part numbers off the main valve in the waterway. Bottom line, talked to Jerome today, they're working with Pierce Direct. It's not that it's a huge dollar amount, it's just not on the shelf. So I'm working on that. There was a little delay there. Where all of the chargers that I had asked to be installed that you approved a while back are all installed as far as portable radios. I do have an RTP I'll talk about a little bit later on the truck one, but heading down the road, I am looking at what I have in the budget for the remainder of the year. I'm gonna try to get a cap for squad. That was budgeted and talked about. I just didn't pull the trigger because I couldn't find what I want, but due to the type of box that we have, I'm limited. So probably the workshop, I'll be bringing something to you. Again, I'll look at where I'm at with budget, but that's the only thing, knock on wood.
Tony, is the truck out of service?
No,
Okay.
no, it's not out of service. It's just, we've got to shut some things manually so that we don't drain the pump. But we're okay. Thank you.
Are these from you? Did you put these over here?
Yeah, but that's for later,
For what?
for later. Yep.
Thank you. Building and ground.
I knew that was gonna happen.
Is that me or you?
You just been
Right at
terminated.
the end of that.
Oh, okay. All right, well, that's where it's staying, guys.
See you later, Tom.
It's that easy, Randy.
The only thing I got were a couple of things. Fred Klein called me today. He was gonna change a thermostat at station 4, and I just said, just go ahead and go through your PMs on all heating and stuff, make sure everything's good, change that filters and stuff. And then also, they did do the kitchen Hansel system on both, they did it Friday, so that's all set.
Where are we with the wire for?
I just talked to Randy, we gotta find a different electrician, he just
Okay.
can't do it, he just, too many people, or too busy, I should say. So Tony's got a couple of people, and he.
Okay, all right, yeah, we just need to get that done
Yeah,
relatively quick.
yeah.
What was it for?
The well pump at Station 4.
Thank you.
Along the lines of the building, I did talk to Penske, we had a conversation on the floor, and so he's rewriting that.
Okay.
I told him that we wanted to make sure it was written so that who we're buying the tiles from is installing it,
Okay.
so that we don't run into the issue that Salve ran into. Whoever it may be, you know what I mean, but just, because if you buy it from this guy and have this guy install it and you have a problem, there's gonna be a lot of finger pointing and we're gonna be left holding it, so.
One other thing, they haven't done the overhead doors in the pole barn yet. The last night they had to order them, but I was hoping soon. It's been like 3 weeks, so I thought maybe this week. So hopefully by the workshop that'll be done, or at least that part of it.
Okay. Anything else for Jeff?
I don't believe,
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I don't. Good.
Okay. Purchasing, right?
Yep. I have the items from the workshop that are listed there, and the POs are $23.47 for the gear, $23.48 for the miscellaneous items for pagers, $23.49 for the D-ring patches for the WR2, and then $23.50 for the webbing and computer monitors.
I'll make a motion, we pay our piece $23.47 to $23.50 for a total of $55,367.
I'll second. Ed can second.
Who seconded that?
Ed?
Ed,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
Randy,
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
And then, the items that Tony had brought up at the workshop, those are $23.51, $23.52, and $23.53. The correct dollar amounts, or the most current dollar amounts, are as follows. The commercial lock tool that they're looking for, 10 of them, they're $30 each, so that'd be $300. The stuff for the bunk room here at Station 1, that's gonna be $1,086. And the skill pillow is $985. For a total of $2,371.
That's just timing, I mean, price.
I don't know.
Okay,
Well,
curious.
I couldn't find anything where it was $11 each, so I reached out to the captain of Station 1 that submitted the request, and he sent me back the information that he looked up, and
About $30.
it was $30. I don't know where he got $11
Yeah, I don't
from.
know where that come from either. I don't know.
I'll be honest with you, that tool's not gonna work on a lot of the commercial entrances and commercial buildings around here unless they have a lever lock set on it, just to forewarn you. If it has a panic bar on it, it's not gonna work. If it has an MS lock on it, it's not gonna work. This is designed for your typical lever locks like what you have on these doors.
So what's our alternative?
Take the glass out. It'd be cheaper to break the glass than it would be to break the door, to be truthfully honest with you.
I don't know, that's what
I
they
can
asked
show you how to
for.
take the glass out, it takes 2 minutes, but. But, I mean, it is useful if you're in a commercial building and you need to get into rooms. I'm not saying that it's not, but I'm just forewarning you that
Not the end all.
Well, maybe that wasn't their intent, that they're gonna use it for.
Yeah, I had the captain come to me, I have the money, this was a tool that relatively inexpensive. Again, it did come to me at $11, so, 11 versus 30. I don't have a lot to say, honestly, on that.
So would you recommend, do we hold off on those to make sure that, or
Well, maybe it's one of those, maybe, you get maybe one for each station and work on it and try it and see if it's what they're looking for. I don't know, I guess that's what you have to discuss with your line officers. As a suggestion, I don't know.
I can, for the $300, I can bring it, I got a line officers meeting in a couple of weeks, I can bring it back to the work session, I guess.
I mean, it's not a lot of money, I'm just,
Unfortunately, I can't
yeah, no, I
swear in
get
the
it,
face
I
and
get it.
say,
Well, why don't we get 5,
well,
and then, if, at least we've got them, and then we can turn around and.
just
like
do
Wayne
me a
said,
favor, let's just hold off, I'll have my line officers meeting and
Yeah,
just
just point it
talk
out,
to them
make
out
sure
and
that
say,
they're
just,
aware of it, and if they're aware of it and that's what they want.
And that's what they, right.
yeah,
We don't have a
let's do
problem
that,
getting them, I
let
just
me do
wanna-
that, let me do that.
I mean, I just want, you to understand that, they're only specifically for a certain type of lock.
All right,
Okay,
I have a question on the bunk beds. What are we rearranging to put the bunk beds?
they're gonna go in, thank you, in the lounge, that way they're not out here anymore, they're gonna go in the lounge. I'm gonna set that up as their bunk room, yes, when you built the firehouse, that's where it was originally, believe me, I know. Jeff's working on some stuff for upstairs, but they would prefer the lounge be the bunk room. And interesting, if you were to, every time we get mutual aid throughout the county, everybody's hanging out in the truck bays with furniture and everything, so my goal is to get bunks in there, to be able to have them spend the night and they're not sleeping on the truck floor. I don't want them in the chairs anymore. So that's what we're doing. At some point, it'll probably, again, we'll have to work on some capital projects, but I wanna make the day room upstairs, I think. But I can't do that until we talk about air conditioning, which Jeff's been bouncing that around for a couple of years, so that's what we're doing.
okay. Okay.
So
So,
this actually was approved. You actually approved the bunks and the beds last year, or even maybe this year, but I never did it.
okay,
So I just brought it back up to go through the right process.
all right, so I'll make a motion, we purchase 2352 and 2353 for a total of $271. And then just make sure that they know we're not opposed to buying that
Yeah,
lot, we just wanna make sure that's what
I
they
have
want.
no problem with
That's
that
all.
at all, no problem with it at all.
What was those amounts?
You need a bigger total.
You can be the bigger total.
$2,071?
Yeah, you said 200.
Did I really? Sorry. I was trying to get by on the cheap side. Saving money.
That's like, wow.
$2,071.
I'll second it.
Okay. Computers, security and computers.
Yep, Suzanne from Advanced IT reached out to me, and I met with her and Richard. And of course, as of 1/1, they're changing their pricing, right? So this is their updated pricing, this is how they're going to do the pricing from now on. And this is kind of, from what she's saying, industry standard, which I probably believe, just because of the seating. So instead of doing a current, is how they do it, is we have a monthly agreement to pay a certain amount. And then we pay an additional amount for the Microsoft licenses. And then we pay an additional amount for the phone service. And then any additional over the 2 hours a month that we get, we pay additional to. So roughly what we're paying a year for their service currently is $23,160. Going forward, it is going to be a cost per seat, which will include everything. The cost per seat is based off of computer. So for the Northwest Fire District, we currently have 23 computers. There are 4 network security / support, which is the 4 pretty much stations. So it's $125 per seat.
That's what they call
So it's an
The
all-in
suite,
price.
yeah,
We're
the
not gonna
seat is a computer, we're not gonna have
pay
additional
all the
charges,
additional
yes.
charges, okay.
But comparing between the two, it is an additional $10,965 a year, which we did not budget for because we didn't know about it. She said, in addition, besides having just the seats in the, Richard is going to be our dedicated account manager. So he is going to be the point person for the Northwest Fire District on their end. He is the one that has pretty much been doing all of our work anyway, which is why they figured it would be a good fit. But it won't be bounced around between whoever happens to be available in the office, so he'll have a good knowledge of what we need, what we do, and things that when we call for support and help. I'm very familiar. Now, I did reach out, and Richard's been working with me, and we're gonna have to go through it, because I've got 23 seats, honestly seems high. And he sent me a list of computers. And he actually just sent me an update today, because I asked him for some additional assistance. The first list that he sent me lists like serial numbers, and didn't tell me anything other than like, hey, here's a computer. And I'm like, I don't know what computer is what, I don't know where they're located. So he went through and actually kind of color coded it for me and told me that where the computers are located, so I have a little bit better knowledge of where they are, so I can verify if we're using them. Because there's a few on here. So like there's one computer, and the last time somebody logged in on it was March of 2024. There's one that hasn't been logged in since April of 24. There's one that hasn't been logged in since May of 24. I don't know if we're using these computers or not. I'm thinking if nobody's logged into it since March, we may not be using it, and why are we paying for a seat? So we kind of have to go through these and figure out whether or not these are viable computers. I mean, they have the pulling IP addresses, but they just haven't been logged in or used since those dates.
So that would be my question. I'm sure if we added computers, right, they would just add another
Yeah.
$125 in, so
And if we take off, they will,
we should look at, I mean, if it hasn't been used in 6 months,
yeah.
if it hasn't been used in a couple of months, to be honest with you, we should probably consider,
It's probably Station 5's got one there, right? So, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, these ones that are, they're actually Station 1, the ones that I just mentioned.
Oh.
Yeah, Station 5 isn't even listed. It's only Station 1, 2, 3, and 4 that he's got listed. So but I have to figure out like where this computer is that hasn't been logged in since March. Because again, all I have is,
Locations.
it just kind of says host name NWVFDB100285. I don't know what computer that is, so I gotta figure out what computer correlates to that.
so maybe we can
know.
do, along with this, right, is like, what they do at our work is they name every computer, so that it makes it so much easier.
Yeah,
Well, they're
So
supposed to.
Yeah, and
and some of them do. I mean, some of them are named, and some of them I know what they are because it specifically says on here. But you know, like the one specifically says, it's a laptop, Megan Metello. I know that's Megan's laptop, that's easy. There's one in here that says chief. I'm assuming chief is Tony's. But there's a lot of them that just say firehouse, firehouse, firehouse. Well, I don't know if that's the radio room, I don't know if it's the computer up in the security room, I don't know if it's the laptop or desktop that's up in the line officer's room, I just don't know what they are. So I need to kind of go through and figure out at this point, now that I at least have this to know,
Got something to work with.
yeah, where the computers are at least physically located, I can look at the back and find serial numbers and figure out what's what.
Tony, are you aware of any computers that are going?
I'm trying to figure out what to say. I'm assuming, I know there's a computer up on the desk in the chief's office. I think that's the safety computer that I can tell you we don't use. But again, I don't wanna speak with a forked tongue, cause I don't have black and white.
I'm just asking, I didn't know if you knew offhand anything that might.
I don't even, honestly, no, I guess I don't know.
So if we don't put them on, right? It's not like we lose the computer.
Right.
If somebody all of a sudden says, hey,
When we don't put it on, we'll know where it is.
yeah, I don't have my computer anymore.
Well, I mean, when we bought all new computers to upgrade them, we took a lot of computers out. So I'm wondering if they're still on the list and they never took
Never
them
got
out.
taken off.
Right, that's,
Is what I'm
That's
guessing.
probably more
You know,
realistic.
when they put new computers in, they're supposed to label it, you know, line officer, station 1, line officer, station 2, radio room, station 1. Whether or not that did, I mean, some of them, like she says, are probably labeled, you know. Because I asked them, I says, when you put a new computer in, so we know what computer we're having a problem with, we can go to that computer. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of serial numbers that we're trying to track down whose it is.
so I'm working with Richard on getting that figured out, but I wanted to bring this to you guys so that you guys at least see, know what's going on. It would take effect January 1st. If you guys wanna try to look at other companies, we can. I honestly don't know who to reach out to, but I can do some research.
I don't wanna ask you, Kevin, I'll ask you after. We could certainly hold off on this till December meeting, right? Give us a chance to, I mean, if you want some help, I'd be more than happy to find whatever we can find and it's not being used. Yeah, what, can we, is everybody good with that? Let's wait till the December meeting, let's see if we
I
can.
just wanted to present it to you guys, so you have-
No, that's good.
and it's,
And I'm sure everybody probably got it at some point, but Windows 10 is no longer gonna be supported after October, a year from now, basically.
It came up on my laptop today.
Yeah, a year from now, it's not gonna be supported, so that's something else we gotta, it doesn't mean the end of the world, doesn't mean it stops working, it just means you're not gonna get updates and that kind of stuff, so.
Well, that's one of the, they should be able, usually when they do that, you upgrade for free.
Yep,
So, I mean, it's just a matter of, that's when you reach out to advanced IT or whoever's doing it. and
I just know a
say,
lot of people have not been happy with Windows 11. And I don't know, we haven't updated a lot at work because a few people did and they weren't happy with Windows 11. So
Yeah, they
everybody was kind of
upgraded it.
hoping Windows 12 would come out box. But anyways, okay. Safety, Tom?
I have no.
I have a little bit. So, trying to, as I had mentioned with everybody, the new OSHA stuff's coming down this road, so trying to stay ahead of the curveball. I'm working on kind of changing some of the safety things that, the way I'm doing it. I'm actually developed a job description that we're working on for a health and safety, I'm gonna put a health and safety is gonna be assigned to a chief. Like if my hierarchy right now is we have the district chief, a deputy chief, and then a chief in charge of training, and then a chief in charge of or administration. Okay, it's kind of how the hierarchy works throughout the years. Well, I'm actually gonna make, there's gonna be a chief in charge of, and his specific role is health and safety officer. And it's developed around NFPA, and hopefully helps me with the curveball on OSHA. And I'm not there yet, hopefully I'll be able to roll it out in January, providing I'm still your fire chief in January. So it's a big deal, it's a big change. We'll still have our 400 cars, we'll still have our safety committee, we'll still have, but there's gonna be one chief in charge of health and safety, and he will be the health and safety officer for the entire district, because it's very much specific. NFPA states it, and OSHA is, which is law, that is part of it, so we should be able to be ahead. Again, I'm in the middle of that right now. I got a rough draft. I'll bring it back to the chief's office, try to get some help, because this is something I can't do on my own. But I just wanted you to be aware of it. And also under health and safety, I had some conversation with Jan, our
Nurse.
thank you. Yeah. So, as we all know, we have two. We have Jan, and then we have the other group. What's the other group's name, please? CNY Medical. Well, talked to Jan midweek, and we have some gaps in our systems and processes and whatnot. So, and I think they're significant. So I'd like for the fire commissioners, my safety officer, and the chiefs, and both Jan and then CNY to sit down in a room and make sure that we're doing what we should be, we're paying, and we're getting what we paid for. And there are significant gaps, I can tell you. We had a snafu that we were able to correct, but if we didn't catch it, it'll put us in a bad, dark place. So what I'm looking for is to schedule a meeting with both the medical places, your current board, and my safety and myself, and say, here is what's required. Is that what we're doing? What are we going to be asked to do next year? What's changing? Are we doing enough? Are we not doing enough? Are we getting pulmonary function tests when we're supposed to? There's gaps. So that's as much as I need to say right now, but I'd like permission to schedule something, but we all have to be involved, including both people medically based, and they need to sit in the same room. If we can't do that, then they don't need our money. I don't know how you feel about that, but I think it's important.
I don't have a problem with it.
And it's not something you can wait 13 months or 2 months or 1 month. Can I get something scheduled?
Sure.
I will do that. That's all for health and safety.
All right. Chief's comments?
Yes, so for calls, 60 total calls for the month, 8 fire-related calls, 6 rescue. EMS, I had 26 alarms, and other CO miscellaneous, we had 20. Last night I attended Lysander's business meeting, and they had some issues with some computer stuff. Jack, the president, sent an email to Becky on how to resolve some of that, work with IT, but they also made some comments. There's an alert coming up quite often about changing the passwords over at the station. Is it possible to make that alert go away and keep it the same password? It's Station 4. So
It keeps coming up because they keep changing it.
Well, it keeps coming up because it's asking them to change it.
Well, you can change it to the same password, you don't have to change the password.
Agreed, we
And that's what I
learned it.
explained to them, and somebody keeps changing it to a different one and not telling anybody, and that's where we're running into the problem.
Correct. So what I'd like to do, is it possible to put station 4 and not make it, is there an alert that just, on my laptop, I worked with IT, because it kept asking me, geez, change your password. I didn't know you could use the same password, but from IT, they said, we'll just make it so it doesn't make you change it. So it can be done, because I know it can be done. Can we do the same thing over there?
They're supposed to go through and change all the computers.
Okay, I know what we're supposed to do,
And
but
ask them.
I will handle it if that's okay. I just relaying the message. I'm gonna do that, I'll work with IT if that's okay. Good? All right, good. All right, so, there's that, station, Okay, Megan, do you have on, they had breakfasts scheduled for November 24th, December,
November 23rd and 24th.
Yeah, it's on the usage.
okay, great. Okay, so then I don't have to repeat that, okay. ISO audit is Monday. ISO audit is Monday, the 18th,
What time?
about 9 o'clock. It's the 18th and then 9 o'clock. New member orientation for new members is tomorrow night, tomorrow evening. And Becky and I received a note from our grant writer asking if we were gonna do a request for a FEMA grant this year. And, you know, I'm half-hearted when I say this, I don't know if we skip a year or not. I have some thoughts if we were gonna do it, but I don't know, you know, we've just not had good luck in the last, how many years, Becky?
Are you changing it every year, what you're asking for?
No, we've asked for radios a couple of years in a row. I've asked for a replacement, tanker pumper, a couple of years in a row. I have some ideas.
Just my thought is if you keep, one year you ask for this, and next year you ask for something else, if you're not consistent, you have a peer review when those requests come in, and if the same peer group is reviewing them, we're gonna say, what the, they make up their mind what the hell they want?
Yeah.
So we ought to stick with something and stay with it.
Last year we did radios in a tanker pumper, and I budgeted for half the radios this year. I have an idea, something that probably takes precedence, that has to do with staffing. We get 50% discount by hiring them, if I read it right, correct, Becky? Didn't we read that today?
For 10K, yeah.
Yeah, I have an idea for staffing. I don't think the radios are priority, I think staffing is. Maybe we look at that.
Yeah, but let me ask you this. They cover it for the first year, and then you have to pick it up after that.
Yep. Correct.
So you're looking at probably at the end of 5 years, 5 full-time people.
Yeah, if we're looking,
I mean, if you, let's say that's your goal.
someday it is. I don't think we're there, but I certainly think we talked about, you know, the pay chief at some point in our future. Something to think about. I don't think we have to make a decision right this second, but I need to make it relatively quick. Maybe we can, you know, poke around on it and think about it, and I'll bring it back. But that's kind of my thought process. That's, and last but not least for my report, I'm meeting with the new highway superintendent for the village. I'm gonna go shake his hand and,
Who is it?
Jeffrey, what's his name?
Karen, what was his last name?
Oh, gosh, I can't remember his last
Is he
name.
not, he's not from the village?
He's your boss and you don't know
I don't
his
know.
name?
It's like push now or something like that?
He lives on Linda Lane.
I talked to Corey Perkins, and I got a plan, we're gonna meet here in the next couple weeks, talk about how
A lot of the,
how partnership works and how things can go if we want and they want. So I'm looking forward to that conversation. Really looking forward to that conversation. And then I got some RTPs for you guys. I handed you each a packet. There's only one on here that I would ask you to act on tonight. The other ones I'll turn in for now for your review and bring it up at the work session. The one specifically for tonight I'd like you to consider is, it's a $211.99 repair. That's for what they call a box crawler cover. It's a part of a fan that unfortunately got broke. The cover in the digital box, the internal frame, but I need a couple $100 to fix this fan and get it back into service. It's the only thing I would ask you to work on tonight. The rest of them, it's a normal process, go through. Each person has a packet, and then I have in my possession here all the supporting documentation for all the RTPs.
Everything's budgeted.
Yeah, everything in here is budgeted except for the box controller. That is a repair.
Okay.
Yep, I have money in the chief. What is, let me look.
Yeah, I
This
just, what is
last
it?
one, I don't understand.
Okay, that is, yes, that's supporting documentation in that. What we're looking for is to issue every member basically a pouch to attach to the turnout gear to hold 2 pairs of medical gloves. That way there's no excuse. I didn't have my rubber gloves, I didn't have my medical gloves. That's issuing every member, and then have some for Wayne and storage. It says, correct me if I'm wrong, the glove pouch, it's $2.99 each for $150. Yeah, that's what that is. I have the supported documentation for all of that. I'll turn that in if you want to see it.
I just didn't know.
No,
Well, I
no,
can
fair
say
enough.
exclusive gloves, but I couldn't read the last
I
word.
couldn't-
Yeah, that's my.
Patch on my
Like a
chicken
ranch or
scratch.
something, I wasn't
Yeah,
sure what.
sorry, that's my, this is through Firestore. It's a black bag that attaches to the turnout gear. And I just want every member to have one.
You gotta remember to put the gloves in them.
Touche. I'm trying, Beth, I am trying, Roxy, I am really trying. So, but like I said, the only one I would ask you to do tonight is the $211.99 to fix my fan.
All right, somebody wanna make a motion to,
I'll make a motion.
Second.
for a total of $211.99 for the box controller for the fan. Okay,
Are you done, Tom?
I am,
All right, I'm not.
okay.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Steve, I have a question for the chief.
Good luck. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Chief's cars,
Yes, sir.
we got 2 of them sitting out here.
Yes, sir.
I've heard it for months that we're gonna do something, so either Cooper get off the pot or we're gonna surplus them.
Fair enough. When you saw them that day, they were both here. What was going on, I checked into that because that's not supposed to be. There's supposed to be one in each station. The guy was here doing some stuff with it. I know how it looks and I respect that and I got it. One of them is going in service as Station 3's EMS vehicle / pull the boats. The other one is a miscellaneous. I don't want to send a squad out of service for Jeff Bordwell to take a class. That's why there's 2. I am behind on getting things moving around with the Station 4 project because we tried something and it didn't work. So we had to revamp and kind of switch gears a little bit, so I'm behind. I explained that to Lysander last night, the Lysander Fire Department, I'm sorry. And I got you, and I get it, and it'll be
No,
done
it
shortly.
seems like we got a lot of money sitting there, and
Well, we do, quite frankly, we do.
the longer it sits there, it's decreasing in value, and
Yep,
we need to poop or get off the pot.
got it.
If everybody's in agreement with that, if everybody's not, then
Absolutely.
Paid crew money's gotta come from someplace, right? I mean,
and I know you got a lot on your plate, but I'm just saying, it's been,
But no, I get it. I am behind by about 45 days on that
we're
project.
getting new chief's vehicles and we're not getting rid of anything, you know?
No,
Okay. I'm done scolding you.
that's okay, I can handle it, Randy.
okay, any other questions for the chief?
Well, I got a lot.
Yeah, well. Christmas is coming.
Yeah.
Resignations, Baldwinsville, none. Lysander, Howard Baldwin. New members, none for Baldwinsville, none for Lysander. Updates and status changes, none for either department. Old business, Red MX. I'm not really sure if you call that I'm not sure what we had with that guy on Becky and I and Derek did a Zoom meeting, whatever, with the kid, because that's what he looked like, from Red MX, and I don't know, I was as baffled when it was over as I was when it started. I think he had someplace to be at 5 o'clock and it started at 4:30 and
You want it out?
he wanted out. The gist of the matter is, I wish Derek was here to, and feel free, you're obviously way more familiar with it, but to add the maintenance suite to what we have is $1,499. Is that the way we would add that suite on, correct? Is that?
It's, yeah, you would add the module on, and that's the additional charge for it.
And then he also asked us about the IM responding, and Red MX has something very similar, whatever. That's $999, basically $1,000 to add that on. Derek, I don't think was impressed with that.
Yeah, I was gonna, Steve, Derek and I talked, and I would ask you not to do anything yet. I'm gonna actually have him come to the next work session, and again, let's talk about it together. I'm not convinced that this is the platform that we need to be in, but I'm also not prepared to make a change yet. So I guess I'm asking you to wait before you do anything.
Yeah, I'm not, well, just me personally, I'm not in favor of doing anything yet either, right? I know Derek is going through this process for the Air Force right
Right.
now. And so he's had a lot of exposure to some different things, so I think we should listen to what he's got to say, what he's seen out there.
There's definitely, interesting, I had to do some stuff at work the other day, and I had to go to Liverpool Fire Department, and just the stuff that I saw and I'm responding, that we already paid for, and how they have their stuff set up. And I had to come down and look at mine on my wall, and I'm thinking, so we've got some work to do to tell you what we need before we need you to spend money. Because I don't even know if we're telling you what we need. I don't think we're doing it correctly. I just know between the two platforms we have, we're not utilizing either of them to the full extent. So maybe we bring these people work for us. You cut a check every year. Maybe they need to work for us, and if they don't want to work for us, we'll get somebody else that can. It's just my thought process on that.
Well, I'm responding's out there, they send ads out all the time about what they can have to offer, and we just don't take advantage of it.
There's a lot.
We use a lot more on IM responding as far as the different parts and pieces of it than we do with Red MX. Red MX, we're probably not even using a third of it. Where I am responding, we kind of dig into it and we utilize a lot of it, but whether anybody does anything with it for the purposes of a call or, you know, the information that is available on I am responding, you know, if you're responding to a residence and there's, you know, we could put notes in there for our own reference, you know, if it has a double roof on it, you know, if it has, you know, hidden void spaces, you know, I mean, apartment buildings, you can utilize all that stuff. But whether or not you pull it up, you know, especially with hydrants, you know, all the hydrants are marked, all the dry hydrants are marked, you know, whether or not anybody utilizes that, they're there. I mean, Rick's spent a lot of time updating things, you know, if a hydrant goes out of service, he marks it off on the I am responding, but if you're not looking at the app, it's not doing you any good.
Any good.
You know, so I mean, the information's there and we do utilize a lot of it, but if you don't have the app available, it's not gonna do you any good on the scene.
Okay, I would agree, I would rather just wait, look into it a little bit, unless somebody's got more than that. Okay, the PenFlex contract, the service program, the service ward program administrator. It is, the base fee is $4,100, per participant fee is $23. Payment certification and trustee directive letters are $100 per letter. Total estimated standard and distribution services fees, $6,500. It's for 2025. It says 2024, 2025. I'm assuming it's an annual contract, right? I don't know why it says 24, but.
Maybe it starts in like
Well,
December.
because it takes, probably the reports are for 2024 and then the tracking for 2025. Makes sense. So, need permission to sign that contract.
So moved.
John, second by Becky. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Station usage. Northwest Station 4, November 23rd and 24th for the Lysander breakfast. December 14th and 15th, Lysander breakfast. April 12th and 13th, 2005, Lysander breakfast. They have breakfast 2 days?
No, it's just they like to
When
set
they
up the
set
night
up,
before.
okay, so you say, wow, that's,
They ran into that recently,
That's why
there's
they're-
just so few of them,
yep,
so it's just how.
easier to set up the day
Yeah,
That's why they
Yeah.
moved the one that was supposed to be Sunday, but somebody's using the room on Saturday. They
Ah.
moved, so that's why they changed.
Okay. Comments from the public? I don't have anything. What? Disappointed.
Hey Steve, back up to security, Station 5's key fob system is cooked again. So Doyle is working, they had to order another controller.
What, is there something that's causing that, or?
I asked him, I said, well, this is the second time we've replaced it. So I says, is it something that's in the building? Or I says, is it? And he couldn't answer, he couldn't give me a straight answer on it. He almost thinks what happened the last time, or what happened this time was there was a power surge from, there was an accident, I believe, there was an accident earlier that day and the power was out. And then when the power came back on, he says it probably got cooked. Is
So
what-
they didn't give me a price yet?
So, just kind of keeping in the loop on that one, and, I think they've been working with the issues that we're having with Station 3 not updating, And I haven't seen any issues as of lately, so hopefully that problem is fixed. But they're telling me that it's gonna continue to happen whenever Kerry does an update on the system. He says that it bounces out the, all the other stations, and then they have to basically come back in and push the updates manually, and then it puts all the stations back online.
Strange. One thing I did want to bring up, I noticed the National Grid bill. Is there a reason why Station 2 has like 3 times the natural gas usage of all the other stations? It's like astronomical compared to even this station. I mean, you know what I mean?
When I was treasurer with them, we were independent, I always wanted the same thing. Why?
It just seems strange to me that that's so high. The
Unless
use
the generator's running out there, then we don't, no, that's a gas generator.
That's- yeah.
That's a gas generator, or diesel. Diesel. I always wanted the same thing, but it's not diesel. It's diesel. Station three.
There's no diesel tank out there anymore.
No,
It's under the generator.
Oh, it's under the generator.
And didn't we just change that boiler?
Yeah, what, you do that 2 years ago?
Yeah, so it's not like it's an old boiler that we're doing.
It just seemed really high. I mean, I think it was 3 times
Well, that's
what,
not a commercial, that's not a, that's the, still a residential meter on that. If you think about it, it's not like those big, the new commercial ones that they had to change.
Yeah, but we're still paying commercial rate.
Yeah, so, I don't know, maybe something wrong with the meter.
yeah, I was just wondering if we should reach out to the grid. and Maybe
Tony
they're
got a
paying
raise.
too much.
Keep paying the bill, thank you very much, appreciate that, thank you. Thank you for retirement.
Probably got some switch on it that doubles it.
If nobody has a problem, I'm gonna call grid and just.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
They can come out and check, maybe we got a leak or something.
And not for nothing, they'll come out and say, hey, you should do this, or you should do that, or try this. You know,
That's always my mind, we did the same thing, it was more than here, and we're using this station more than.
Right, well, that's what I thought, this station gets used a lot more, you got the kitchen here.
We were using this kitchen more than.
So why didn't you check into it then?
I don't,
Yeah, Jeff.
yeah.
You knew that was coming.
It's not Jeff's fault.
You knew that was coming.
Okay, anything else? Therefore, I'd like to,
You guys didn't. I don't know.
I'd like to make a motion for an executive session. For a personnel matter. There will be no decision made at the end of the executive session. So if you don't want to stick around, you don't not have to. Tony's first.
Okay.
Wayne, we'd like you to stick around. We kind of got 2 meetings we want to.